welcome along to Matchday Live here on Fox's Hub ahead of game number 7 of this championship season for Leicester City. Carrow Road and Norwich City await down in Norfolk. Here in the studio though in Leicester, it's me, Dan Bates, Matt Elliott and Matty Fryatt. We'll introduce those two in just a moment. Before we do that though, we're an hour away from kick-off of course. That means we've got to get all the team news straight to you. And Enzo Maresca has decided that tonight is the night that changes are needed, as games in this division are starting to come thick and fast. The Italian makes 5 changes to the side that won so convincingly on the South Coast on Friday evening. Out go Riccardo, Justin, Dewsbury Hall, Ndidi and Vardy. And in come Chowdhury, Fass, Cassidy, Yunus and Kelechi Iheanacho. Here's the 11 then in full. It's Mads Hermansen in goal, Doyle, Vestergaard, Fass and Chowdhury. Chowdhury we think obviously will be playing that hybrid role. Winks, Yunus and Cassidy, whether that's Yunus or McAteer in the midfield, we'll find out pretty much as soon as the game kicks off. And then Mavididi and that man McAteer either side of Kelechi Iheanacho. On the bench, it's Stolarczyk, Ndidi, Justin, Cody again, still waiting to see his first appearance in a competitive game for the Foxes. Dewsbury Hall, Riccardo, Fatawu, Vardy and Patson Daka. From a Norwich point of view then, the Canaries have had a brilliant start to the season themselves, picking up 13 points from their opening 6 games. Former Huddersfield manager David Wagner makes 1 change to the side that beat Stoke 1-0 at the weekend. Out goes forward Adam Eder. He's been replaced by Liam Gibbs in the midfield, which means former Burnley forward Ashley Barnes starts up top. The 11 for them then in full is Gunn in goal, Giannoulis left back, Gibson, Duffy and Stacey make up the rest of the back 4. It's Gibbs and McLean in midfield, with Rowe, who's got 4 goals and 1 assist already at the start of this season, and Fasnacht either side of Sarah, who is in behind that man, Ashley Barnes. So we'll hear from Ewan Roberts in around about 20 minutes or so. He's down in the familiar surroundings of Carrow Road on co-commentary duty for us this evening. So for now, we've got to deal with Matty Fryatt and Matt Elliott. Good evening to the both of you. A former forward, a former defender, of course, at this football club. Looking forward to what will hopefully be another victory this evening, Matty.
Yeah, excited for it. Obviously, a fantastic result on Friday evening and a really, really good opportunity tonight against probably you'd be looking at it as Norwich in terms of one of the teams you'd expect to be up there. So it'll be a real test, and if Leicester can come away with 3 points, it sets them up nicely. They'll build more momentum, and it's sort of an indication, obviously playing Southampton and Norwich on the road. It's going to be difficult, but you'll also see where Leicester are at as well.
I guess when the fixtures came out, Matt, and Leicester looked at it fairly early, going to Southampton away, then followed by going to Norwich away, 2 of the more difficult games that you might have away from home in the Championship this season, back to back.
Yeah.
It would have been earmarked, won't it? But so far, the first game has been won.
Yeah, probably no more than that. It's dangerous to sort of, 1, look too far ahead and, and 2, sort of look at fixtures and assume that that's going to be key because you don't know what position you're going to be come that stage. But, I'm sure the manager will look at it and try and impress to the players. It is game by game. But us as, media
experts, Matt. You can call yourself
Are we experts?
You are, yeah, you two are.
That.
I'm not sure about Matty. I don't know, though. Me and you, maybe.
Yeah, Jerry's not here, so we can say it.
Oh, yeah, okay. Fair enough. But, and supporters alike, they look at it. And, of course, it is a point of interest, isn't it? A point of conversation. But, but you look at it, it's gone pretty well for Leicester so far. Almost above according to plan, really. But you look at it, and you would expect them, with the opposition they come up against, to do pretty much what they have, really. But it's just because it's a new team gelling. Southampton, you was a little bit apprehensive, weren't you? A little bit cautious, wary, thinking, how's this going to go? And no one quite knew how it was going to turn out. I mean, the game as it was. And again, tonight, really, both teams, both very positive, will go for it. Despite being away from home, Leicester still, like to take the game to the opposition. But it is a test, yeah, Matt is right. He's showing his expertise there, saying how much of a test it is. But because it's a little bit of a un-Norwich-like team, isn't it? For me, the experience there at the heart of the defence. It's a sensible approach, I think. It's probably what Norwich need. They've got experience there in midfield in McLean, and with
Rowe, obviously with the goals.
Barnes, sorry, I had a blank there. Lack of expertise, but Barnes coming in again, showing that experience and sort of bringing everything together with those players around him as well. It's a good point. It's going to be a tough test. I hesitate to say which way it's going to go, but the changes for me, they make it a little bit more difficult from Leicester's point of view. But at the same time, it's exhibiting and demonstrating the depth that Leicester have got in the squad.
Yeah, well, coming up as we build up to kick-off, we've got more expert analysis with Matty Fryatt and Ewan Roberts. No one else there. We're also going to look back at Friday night, of course. What an evening that was on the South Coast. Probably the second best evening at St Mary's on a Friday night. We'll look back at some of the key players in that win, talking to the box about that fantastic 3 points. And we'll also hear, of course, from manager Enzo Maresca as he previews this. Of course, the second game in a couple of days and another game coming up on Saturday as well. Is that why we've seen changes tonight, Matty Fryatt? When you look at the team, are you a little surprised? Five changes made by the manager?
I am. I'm surprised by it with that number, and especially with what confidence and what I saw from the game Friday evening. Sort of blew Southampton away in terms of the energy, the pace and the quality. As before, it's been more about the possession to the build-up and then go and exploit the opportunities. As the other night, just Southampton couldn't live with Leicester. And then you think tonight, I'd probably be looking at it from how Norwich is set up with E-Day. He normally stretches teams over the top. Barnes won't do that, so you're thinking they might play off him as a platform and try and break as a counter. And then they've obviously added a midfield player in there to prevent Leicester playing through, because by the way they're set up, you'd imagine that Leicester are going to dictate the ball and Norwich are going to play from the counter, which is the opposite from what Leicester produced against Southampton. So you think probably that way, but then with the changes, it looks as if Leicester have expected that and going to play through the lines, as opposed to the other night, just break really aggressive and get runners with Ndidi, Dewsbury Hall. As tonight looks like it might be more intricate, playing through Winks into Cassidy, and working it that way, as opposed to the other night, just runners from it and bursting forward. So that might have been with the changes. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Sometimes you can get it right, sometimes it might be too many changes.
Yeah, it's a good point. Matt makes there. I'd be interested to find out, probably not until post-match, that what Maresca's ploy is. Whether it's down to sort of resting players with a view to Saturday more than last Friday. But then I just feel that you can sort of break the rhythm a little bit, as Matt has hinted at there. The fluency with which Leicester played with on Friday, I'd like to see a continuance of that tonight, and then ongoingly down the line. But I suppose, over the course of the season, the load has to be shared, and that's the approach that Maresca's got, but also on a tactical point of view, as Matt's touched on there.
Yeah, we'll look back in just a moment about from the best bits from Friday. But when you actually look at the team and when we have it on the screen, how do you see it? Do you see it as Eunice in the midfield with McAteer on the right, the other way round? Will it be someone else in there? What do you think, even Mavididi?
Yeah, well, carrying on from the point that Matt made, really, there possibly is a bit of that thinking from the manager as well about how best to combat Norwich, possibly. Different types of players. Eunice is not as much of a runner as Dewsbury Hall, is he? I think if you're picking a one-off team for a cup final, at this moment in time, Dewsbury Hall plays, doesn't he? Probably Ndidi as well. Debatable with Cassidy. But different. I know they say Cassidy's box to box, but he's not as athletic as Wilfred Ndidi, but he might be a little bit more intricate and detailed in his play. Do I see McAteer or Eunice? I see it as that lineup is there, actually. Yeah. I think. Because I think it's probably a bit much to ask McAteer. McAteer's played left side wide, right side wide, been successful both positions. Relatively young, inexperienced. To ask him to go and play another role, probably a challenge too far, maybe. Not that he's not capable. Eunice probably more suited to that more central role, I would say.
With Eunice, it looks like obviously defensively off the ball he's going to join in with a 3. But then on the ball, can you find the pockets in between and play through the lines? There's what we've seen previously with Ndidi, Dewsbury Hall, they're breaking forward. They're not to play through the lines. Obviously, we saw the pass from Dewsbury Hall, but known for getting into the box, going beyond as runners from midfielders. This looks like it's more, can you get them passes through? And Norwich, I think, from how they're set up, it's going to be a case of sitting in and can Leicester break Norwich down, and then they plan the counter. So it could be used as Yunus in that pocket to create and sort of play off Kelechi, and then if Kelechi drops in, he might go beyond. But it's a bit more creativity in that midfield area.
Yeah, well, it was the other way around, wasn't it? Of course, on Friday evening, Southampton very much came at Leicester City at St Mary's, and Leicester took full advantage in a fantastic 4-1 victory.
Here is Jamie Vardy on the edge of the box into Mavididi. Chances for Leicester very early on. Back to Vardy, who scores sensationally. 21 seconds on the clock. What an extraordinary beginning. He got a hat-trick here in the 9-0 win, and he's off and running already. Now, Walker-Peters has given it away. What a pass! Leicester are in for two. Fantastic goal. Finished off gloriously by Casey McAteer, but made by Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. One of the passes of the season so far. Well, here come Southampton at the other end, and Hermanson's going to have to come out here, and he can't get there. It's Samuel Edozie who's clipped it over him. Made by Shea Adams, and the Saints hit back. And a crazy first half has a third goal. Good finish. Additional minutes at St Mary's. Here's Mavididi, goes beyond his man Edozie, gets to the edge of the box, slips in Ndidi. Ndidi, lovely feint to shoot, and then the finish from Wilfred Ndidi. Leicester scored after 20-odd seconds of this first half, and with 30 seconds left to go, they've done so once more. What a finish from Wilfred Ndidi. And then he's given it away to Mavididi, who gets beyond Smallbone, and he's in here, and he's got support. It's Mavididi with Dewsbury Hall up alongside him. He goes for goal, and this time he scores. Mavididi gets his goal. Leicester have their fourth, and surely now it's going to be 5 wins from 6 to start life in the Championship. But there goes the full-time whistle. Not quite 9, but another Friday night to remember at St Mary's for Leicester City. The boos are from the Southampton supporters, because Enzo Maresca and his Leicester City team have come here and have hit 4.
Yeah, win number 5 came in style, didn't it, down on the South Coast on Friday evening. You were there, Matt. You enjoyed your trip down, of course, but you were royally entertained in that 90 minutes.
You like that saying, didn't
I
you?
do.
You said that the other night.
Yeah.
It's very fitting, though. Yeah, it was super entertainment, the game. I was slightly bedazzled by the bizarreness of the defending from, well,
it started within
primarily
20
from
seconds.
Southampton, yeah, but also Leicester at certain times, but they managed to get to grips with that. Just had a bit of a loose 20-minute period midway through the first half, but other than that, but Southampton, calamitous. I mean, they continued it on last night, wasn't it, against Ipswich as well, conceding drastic, with exceptionally poor decision making. But anyway, the game as a whole, it was wonderful to watch. I mean, just saying to Matt while we were watching the clips there, Matt saw it inadvertently on the screen. I won't say where, but it was 4 going on 8.
That
literally.
sounds worse than what it is, by the way.
4 going on 8. It could have been 8-3, by the way, but yeah, listen, Enzo Maresca, quite understandably, was delighted with the performance. I thought he was a little bit not kind. I thought at times they looked a little bit loose defensively. But listen, you're picking holes. 4-1 away from home against a supposed promotion rival. Hopefully promotion is an issue. Got to be pretty happy, haven't you? And they look good doing it.
It was a great start. You can't get much better than that 20 seconds in.
Yeah, so aggressive, won the ball high up, then broke, and Mavididi was outstanding the other night. In the clips, he just seemed to took the confidence, obviously, from the first goal, the combination, and Jamie Vardy straight away, 21 seconds. I thought my record was in a bit of question when I saw that I was even in the pub at that point.
Oh, you let it slip. You let it slip, sir.
And Leicester 1 up. It was just the start that that they wanted. Good finish, but good build-up play, aggressive to win it, and then go and combine it. But just, I don't think any team in the Championship can cope with Leicester when they go like that. No team can stop them. I know Matt mentioned at times it was a little bit shaky defensively, but you're just going to go past them. No team can match that sort of energy, pace and quality that Leicester showed throughout the game.
It was nice to see though, Matt, wasn't it? Sorry, jumping in. Because I think there have been question marks over whether Leicester can provide that sort of explosive performance where they just, wipe teams aside. And there was the evidence. Like, you thought they've got the potential and the quality to do it, but it hadn't sort of materialised, hadn't developed, and it was all a little bit
Most of the
overly
games have
structured,
been
wasn't it?
controlled. And
Yeah, exactly.
Leicester dictating, waiting for the other team.
But that's the opposition
sort of chess moves.
affecting that, aren't they? Yeah.
And instead it was like, we'll take your king and just go at it using that royal theme of it. But going
Play
at
chess
the other
in the pub.
no, I didn't. It's not that boring.
The second goal was all a little bit of a gift, wasn't it, from Southampton? But actually, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. There's so much to admire. It's not just Dewsbury Hall. It's the run from McAteer. It's the Jamie Vardy taking the defender away.
Yeah, great run. Exactly. Yeah, that hasn't been mentioned too much, but good experience there from Jamie to open up the space. But but initially it's seizing the moment as well. It's recognising that what they're up against in Southampton, they are cavalier. They, very risky play from the back. Right, let's go and test them out, and can we make the most of that? And they did. They put the pressure on. Was it Walker Peters who gave the ball away? I think initially, and Dewsbury all pounces. Here we go. We didn't actually miss the transition, but they're nice, confident stride forward. Gets his head up. Just slides it in. Perfect pace, touch, bang, finish from McAteer. Supreme confidence from such a young lad as well, and again I thought he was really impressive.
What I loved about that finish was he takes it off the line, so the keeper comes away, he's not set, takes it cross, opens up the angle. He could have either gone the opposite side and he just reverses it, but that initial touch, the keeper isn't set, has to move with the touch, and then it opens up. It's just smoothness. It was a brilliant finish.
You'd have been proud of that one. You certainly would have been proud of the way Wilfred Ndidi took his as well. Right on the stroke of half time, vital time to get that third goal as well, but fantastic from the midfielder.
Yeah, I think it, without going on too much in terms of Mavididi coming to him a little bit more with the fourth, but super turn. Just turns, and then the disguise, that cuteness of pass, and then the composure from Wilfred Ndidi. Just sits the defender on his backside, and then little dink finish as if he's been doing it his whole career in terms of inside the 6-yard box. It's fabulous, right at the perfect time, just before half time. Coolness personified, and he's up amongst the goals. He might be, is he top scorer at the minute?
Top scorer with Casey as well.
Yeah.
Looks of astonishment everywhere throughout the ranks, wasn't there?
It was. You've been wanting to talk about Steffi Mavididi. His performance, got an assist there for the Wilfred Ndidi goal, a half assist if you like for the Jamie Vardy one. Got himself a goal that he thoroughly deserved. Yeah,
just this power and pace just burst through. And question marks about Southampton. I couldn't see a defender
just
anywhere in sight. But the pace, and then you'd be saying square it, be showing the confidence, and the finish is precision right in the far corner, and it's one of them. Do you square it? Do you not? But when he finished, he deserved that though. Yeah. He was outstanding. He was the star player, and he was all over and finished it away nicely, and thoroughly deserved his goal. But yet at the time you're thinking, just square it. But he's gone and shown the confidence, and that's what his performance deserved. Yeah, Jamie Vardy there certainly did have a word, didn't he? Because he didn't square it about 5 minutes earlier, but he took the chance brilliantly. It was a brilliant victory, and on Monday morning, 5 of the key players that were involved in that 3 points down at Southampton spoke to our new feature, The Box.
Well, I think we couldn't ask for a better start. I remember even Vardy said, let's start pressing, let's start with the right foot and pressing them, and to be honest, we did that, and it was already a goal, and it was very important, especially we knew that was an important game for us. After a defeat at home, after international break, was important to get points again, and this start was perfect.
Pressing well. Such a good ball from Key. What I'm feeling. I think you can tell by my celebrations how I was feeling. Yeah, good run. Good finish, to be fair. Couldn't believe the space that I had there. I've known Keenan now for many years, obviously coming through the academy and stuff. He's always been a good role model for me. That relationship on the pitch now is definitely building game by game, and all relationships are building on the pitch as well, which is great. So yeah, that's something that needs to keep improving and stuff, and I'm sure it will.
Right, let's look back at this. Third goal the other night. Laying it out from the back, like we're trying to do. Just keeping the ball, pass and move, what the gaffer wants us to do. A lot of good close combinations. Everybody in the right positions. Makes it hard for the opposition to know who to pick up. It's patience, I think that's the main thing. Not forcing it. Waiting for the opportunity.
And we needed that one before halftime, so it was just the perfect time to get that one. And the passes that came, like we had so much of the ball before leading to the goal, because we used to like keeping the ball. So I just realized that we were keeping the ball for the longest time, and then the goal just came. Yeah. The body shape, when Steffi had the ball, my body shape facing the goal was brilliant. Was striker instinct in it, like. So my body shape, and then I got the ball with my left foot, and then tried to shoot, faked it, and then you know what it is.
What was it, 30 odd passes, so I mean that's a pretty good goal if you ask me. If you were to ask any analysis, I think they put that one under the category of top team goal.
That's what we want to do. We want to have the ball to control the game, and having as many passes as we did and scoring a goal at the end, especially at the end of the first half, I think was very important to score in the first minute and at almost the last minute of the first half.
So, I only had one defender to beat, so obviously once I beat him I knew I was clear on goal. Obviously with support. It was such a special night. Obviously I wanted to get my goal. Nothing better than celebrating the goal with your friends. It was a strong performance from the team, and obviously myself individually.
But even I think you would like to have more the ball and control more of the game, but when you score in the first minute and then you're playing away, I think at the same time we need to manage the game, and we did, even if we didn't manage with the ball, but we managed without, and we got the win. Friday
night was a good sight for the fans to see what we're about, and not just on the ball as well, off the ball. I think we were so good off the ball. The pressing style that the gaffer wants us to implement every game. I think it showed perfectly that we're working hard every day, and the things that we're putting into training are coming into games. And being together only a couple of months as well, I feel like we can still grow, we can still get better. So yeah, definitely we're taking game by game, day by day in training, and hopefully we'll see more to come in the future.
That was 5 of the players involved in Friday's victory, speaking on our new feature, The Box. There's plenty more where that comes from over on Fox's Hub. All you need to do is head to the website, click on Fox's Hub, and there's plenty for you to get your teeth into, including things like The Box there. There's a number of features as well for you, including one with Sammy Braybrook and Will Alves, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall's journey from Shepshed Dynamo into the first team here at Leicester City, classic comms with Ian Acho and Ricardo, and also a brand new episode of the podcast, Leicester's the Place, with Martin O'Neill. So plenty of content for you that you can sink your teeth into. Matt's looking at me with a smirk. I'm not going to go to you, not just because you're smirking at me, so I know it's going to be something.
I just wondered who that podcast with Martin O'Neill, or who else was involved in that.
Certainly Jerry Taggart's involved in it as well, and then maybe one of the.
You didn't mention, I just need to do it up.
No, okay. Ewan Roberts, someone who never self-promotes like Matt Elliott does, is down at Carrow Road for us this evening. It was a walk to the ground this evening for you, Ewan, wasn't it? How are you doing? We're just over half an hour now until kick-off.
Dan, when you get to the outskirts of Norwich, there's a sign, "Welcome to Norwich, a fine city." Believe you me, it's not fine tonight. It's blowing a gale. It's chucking it down with rain. I would normally walk to the ground. It's about a 40-minute walk, but I couldn't. I'd have been absolutely soaked. But I'm really looking forward to this one. You know, two former teams of mine, two teams that I thoroughly enjoyed my time at. You know, scored some goals for both. Two teams that are flying high, had really good starts to the season. Just, you know, two defeats for between the two teams. So, you know, Norwich with that 100% home record, Leicester with that 100% away record. As I said to you Monday night, something has to give tonight.
What do you think will give?
Well, I've got to say, when I saw the team news, I was slightly surprised. Considering that Leicester played on Friday night, they've had that extra day's rest. I know they've got another big game against a team that's, you know, flying up the Championship in Bristol City, who are sitting in 5th at the minute. I mean, a part of me doesn't understand it when you think that this game tonight is the first of 6 in 18 days. You know, we've spoken about how relentless this division is, with games coming thick and fast. Well, there's no better sign than the next 18 days. You know, still in the EFL Cup, which, you know, I will enjoy every second of at Anfield next week. I'm just surprised that Enzo's gone for 5 changes. You know, 2 changes at the back. We're not too sure how they're going to form up with Will Hamza Chowdhury play against young Jonathan Rowe, who's been outstanding this season for Norwich City. You know, it's going to be an interesting night here.
Ewan, it's Matt here, mate.
Hello, Matty.
All right, pal. Just you mentioned there about, you know, something's got to give. How do you think that the flow of the game will go? Do you think Norwich will allow Leicester to control the ball as they like to do, or control possession and look to break things up, hitting on the counter, or will they impress things themselves? They're the home team, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Are they going to want to battle it out and show Leicester who's boss themselves?
I think in the fixtures that they've had, I mean, the first game here against Hull, they scored the winner on 95 minutes. You know, then they comfortably beat Millwall by 3 goals to 1. They weren't great on Saturday against Stoke, just that 1-0 win. But I think they will have looked how Leicester play under Enzo, and I do think they will press high. I think that's why he's brought Liam Gibson, you know, Adam Ida, who he's a bit of a scapegoat at times for Norwich fans. They do tend to get on his back. He's only got 2 goals this season, mind you. He only got 2 goals in the whole of last season, and they'll push Ashley Barnes up front, you know, that wily old campaigner. So they've got pace and energy in wide areas in Jonathan Rowe and the Swiss international Christian Fastnert, I think you say his surname. So I do think they will squeeze, they'll press. I think that's how David Wagner likes his teams to play. You know, you look at in midfield, Kenny McLean, August's player of the month in the Championship, Gabriel Sara, who's been outstanding since signing from Sao Paulo in Brazil. I don't think they will let the Leicester defence play out of defence, play through the lines like they normally do.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Ewan. You're on co-commentary duty for us this evening. We'll let you go off and get the final refreshments before you start your commentary with Guy Havard, a man, obviously, Ewan, with a foot in both camps this evening. Right, let's hear then from the Leicester City manager, Enzo Maresca. He was asked in his press conference this week how impressed he was with his side's performance on Friday at Southampton.
I think it was a complete performance on the ball and off the ball. Off the ball was exactly in the way we prepared the game. Go there and try to be ourselves on the ball and off the ball, very aggressive. And since the game started, we show that we went there to try to be aggressive and to win the game. And on the ball, I think we did exactly the same thing we are doing since day one. In the 6-7 games, official games that we had, there are 4 or 5 more action where we did probably more than 30 passes, but the action does finish in goal, so nobody realize. And when you score, it's completely different. We know that, but we work in that way since we start.
Norwich City next up tomorrow night, and so what have you made to them in your analysis?
Absolutely, very good team. They have different way to play. When they build from the back, they are in one shape. Then when they are in opposite side, they change shape. They try to play. Very good team, and yeah, they are doing unbelievable. Yeah.
They've won every game at home this season. What are the key things that you have to get right tomorrow night to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Anyway, we're gonna try to be ourselves. As I said, on the ball and off the ball, continue to work in the way we are working, and try to get some points there.
Is there anything that you can take from your experience in the Champions League that helps you to manage these players in a schedule like you've got coming up, midweek games, weekend games?
Probably the only thing I can say is that, and I already told them, that when you want to reach something important, you need 20 players. For some reason, some of them is not going to play tomorrow, has not played the other day, but the season is so long that for sure we're going to use them. And probably in this moment, the clear example is JJ, that he was playing just in cup game, and the other day he played unbelievable. He was ready, and the same thing is for the rest. They have to train well, and the moment that we need them, because at the end, to reach something important, you need 20 players.
After the impressive win last Friday, could it benefit you in terms of momentum to have a game so soon afterwards, another really tough game against a promotion contender?
We never know that, to be honest. It's much better for sure to play a game when you win, no doubt, because the mood, the momentum is good, but you never know. You know, now we play there, as he said, they always won at home. They are playing very well, they are in a good mood, so you never know how is the game, but for sure, 100%, it's much better to go there after a good win, like we did the other day.
That was Enzo Maresca there speaking to the press ahead of this game with Norwich this evening. He's spoken about going there with momentum, with confidence, of course, from that win on Friday. And he makes 5 changes to the side that went down to the South Coast just, 4 days ago. In goal, it's Hermansen, Doyle, Vestergaard, Fass and Chowdhury across the back 4. Winks, Yunus, Cassidy in midfield with Mavididi and McAteer outside of Kelechi Iheanacho. That means the 5 that missed out from Friday's victory are Ricardo, just trying to remember now off the top of my head, Matt can help me out, Jamie Vardy, of course, Wilfred Ndidi, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall and James Justin as well. Thank you very much to Matty Fryatt. From a Norwich City point of view, they make just the 1 change from their side that won at the weekend. In goal, they have Angus Gunn, Giannolis left back, Gibson, Duffy and Stacey make up the rest of the back 4. McLean and Gibbs in midfield with Rowe, Sarah and Fasnacht in behind. Former Burnley man Ashley Barnes. We heard Enzo Maresca there speaking about that word momentum, that word confidence. We've used that an awful lot this season because you both know it, having obviously had success in this division before. You know that's the key.
Definitely, and when you look at it in terms of the game tonight, I'm looking at the Norwich back 4 and you're thinking McAteer, Mavididi, you're going to get at the Norwich defence. I don't think they're the best in full-back areas. The 2 centre-backs are what you class as traditional championship defenders, aggressive, physical, but they won't like people like Kelechi, Yunus getting in, manipulating it, twisting and turning them. So I think there's opportunities there, and you build on that, especially the wide players. They're getting goals, they're making goals. Go on again. Can you have them same energy levels, that pace that was shown the other night, and really take it to Norwich? Again, I want to see tonight, can Leicester be on the front foot? And I think by looking how Norwich is set up, I think they're fearful of what Leicester can do to them as opposed to the other way, even though Norwich have got some talented players amongst the players there.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think most teams in this division will be wary of coming up against Leicester. Even if they're not on top form, they have quality both on the pitch and on the sidelines. And you know, any stage can hurt teams. You said about momentum, yeah, that is key. You know, for any team to get that confidence, get that flow about your game. But if they can do that whilst integrating other players into the starting lineup, as Maresca talks about there, you know, a 20 squad well, not just a 20-player squad, sorry, but like 20 players that are basically first-team players. And you're not a million miles off that, even already. Some people have got to properly prove themselves because they're new to the club. But 5 changes, whilst I think at this moment in time, I think it's making it a little bit tougher for Leicester tonight, but it's almost like a test, and if they come through it, that confidence will be sky high. Because some key players like missing there who've been massively influential, Dewsbury Hall and Didi that we mentioned, plus others, Ricardo, etc. But I think it's for the overall good, isn't it? From what Maresca says there. And one other key factor, last point, is yes, it's good having momentum, but when things go against you, being reactive and coming on, and and showing that's not going to affect you. The loss against Hull hasn't knocked the confidence. Southampton sorted that.
Yeah, Ewan made a really good point about when you look at the fixture list, that obviously there's a lot of games to come. It's 6 games in 18 days. Changes have to be made. You can't play the same 11 in all.
No,
all 6
of course. That Dewsbury Hall's probably sitting there thinking, I played well the other night, and indeed scored a great goal, and I'm not playing. I want to play. Why am I not playing? But then they'll see the sense of it. It's just hopefully, the form can be maintained, that the points can be picked up along the way. And like I say, if it can, that confidence will be doubled. But it's inevitable, and it's inevitable that there's going to be dips as well. There's going to be losses, and react to them in a positive manner, and Leicester have done that so far.
Absolutely. Right, let's take a closer look then at tonight's hosts, Norwich City. Connor Southall from the Pink 'Un, which makes up a number of newspapers down there in East Anglia, has been telling us what to expect from this Norwich side, who have made a surprisingly good start to the season.
Turning that round, I think, was absolutely key for Wagner more than anything else, because if Norwich City didn't start quickly, there wasn't going to be any goodwill for him a few games in. So it's a testament to what they've done. They've gone from not scoring a goal since February at home, from obviously that game against Cardiff to the last day of the season against Blackpool, to having this start where they've won 3 games at Carrow Road, which is their best home start since 2006. So it's been a really contrasting start to the campaign, and it's been, I keep using the words pleasant surprise, because that's how it's been so far. They have, and again, in real contrast with maybe how it was. We saw it kind of in the early weeks under David Wagner, but scoring goals was a real issue for them at the back end of last season. I think there was more concern because they obviously lost Teemu Pukki, who's been, barring last season, was the club's top scorer in every campaign that he played, and was so prolific, and maybe Norwich looked to him and were reliant on him for goals. So when you lose somebody like that, I think there's always a little bit of doubt over whether players can step up and step in, and they've spread the goals really nicely this year. John Rowe has obviously had a pretty electric start, but Ashley Barnes has chipped in, Adam Eda's chipped in, Josh Sargent pre-injury started really well, Gabriel Sara. They've had goals from lots of different areas. Jack Stacey scoring the winner on Saturday. So much improved, and they look much improved as an attacking unit generally, and I think the most goals in the Championship so far probably documents their work in that particular area.
Thanks to Connor Southall there for that, and really going forward is quite interesting when you look at Norwich this season. Highest scorers in the league, but in the last 2 games though, without Josh Sargent, they've struggled a little bit for goals. That's something that Leicester can maybe take confidence from.
Yeah, I don't think the partnership is quite there with Barnes and Ede. Ede's obviously dropped out this evening, and Barnes will be more the focal point, but I think the goals have been spread amongst Norwich players that come in from all areas of the pitch. Obviously Stacey scored at the weekend, which was an unusual source. Little bit different from years gone by, as they've had a lot of reliance on Pukki, who is no longer, but it seems as if they've got other players coming in. Rowe looks an exceptional talent, one that's always amongst the play or gets opportunities. He looks like a threat coming inside, and seen a few of his clips where he's even scored headers coming at the back post, and looks a talented boy. Same time as Sara, he looks a really good player, creates things, makes opportunities happen, and the goals are a bit more spread out for him now, which is Leicester have got to be aware of, because it's not just one source, it's others, and obviously you've got Barnes, who's been round the block and knows how to get a goal and be physical and add a different element to the side.
Well, Rowe scored in all 4 of their first 4 league games of the season. It was a terrific start that he made. He's clearly a danger. An interesting one for Hamza Chowdhury then tonight.
Yeah, just thinking of that, getting pitted up against Norwich's main man for the first part of the season anyway. Hamza will relish that challenge though. He's quite a confident boy and got a good character. Playing in that right back role, it's almost a perfect role for him really, if he's going to be the one, which I assume he will be, that comes in to help out Winks. Winks has been a constant, by the way, but regardless of any changes, he's always there in the mix, isn't he? Shows how influential he is. But Hamza can play that holding midfield or right back equally well, in my opinion. As a youngster in the academy, he was a right back. I never saw a winger, I don't want to tempt fate, I never saw a winger get past him in a 1v1 situation. Positionally, possibly, got little bits to learn, maybe at the top level, and we'll see how good Rowe is tonight coming up against Hamza. But 1v1, he's a nightmare to come up against. It's not sharp in the tackle, nimble-footed, isn't he? So it would be a good contest between those two.
Yeah, and Rowe at 20 is at the other end of his career to what Ashley Barnes is, and he will bring a completely different threat to Vestergaard and Fass.
Yeah, I think he'll relish that. He's been around the block a fair few times and sort of the older statesman, but I see similarities between the Leicester team and the Norwich team in terms of the core of the team is experienced. Same with Leicester, where you're looking at, say, Cody, Gibson, Winks, McLean, Barnes, Vardy, all similar, and then building from youth around it, but be a different test. Barnes, you know what he's about. He's going to be up for it, and he's going to sometimes leave his foot in them dirty side of the game, but make it difficult. But it'll be interesting how it goes out, because he's not going to press as much as what probably E-Day's going to do. But he's going to be around it, and he puts himself about in his own way.
It's quite a skill, isn't it, being a rough-housed target man, centre forward in the modern game.
It's a little bit
leaving a bit on the defenders, etc. It's a fine line. It's not easy to do these days.
Yeah, it'll be a tough evening for Yannick Vestergaard and his centre-back partner, Wout Fass, who spoke to our commentator, Guy Havard, around about half an hour ago.
About his 4th against 3rd tonight. Is this going to be possibly one of your toughest games of the season?
Every game is tough, but obviously they're doing well in the championship. So yeah, we'll see what a tough game it will be for sure.
We're doing the interview here to keep you dry. The conditions aren't good. What's it like being a footballer out there when it's raining and windy?
I like it. It's always good to have a wet pitch, so it's a nice stadium as well. So everything for a good night of football.
The performance against Southampton on Friday night, fantastic win. Was that the best performance so far under the new boss?
I think in terms of the result, obviously yes, winning 4-1 away is very good, but I think we've been doing great in the whole season, and hopefully we can continue this evening.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
That was Wout Fass there speaking to our commentator Guy Havard. He is one of 5 changes that Enzo Maresca has made this evening to the side that beat Southampton on Friday. He slots straight back in to that back 4.
Yeah, I think well, changes taken into consideration, but yeah, I think straightforward enough really. I don't know if there's a first select back 4 at the moment, but whichever way he goes, looks solid enough, doesn't it? But Fast missed out on Friday, primarily because of playing in the week for Belgium. He played a couple of games, didn't he?
Yeah.
He started both, didn't he? So it seemed like Maresca's selection was based around that. Certainly, it was a factor. So, but yeah, Fast will be. He'll do well to take heed of Vestergaard's advice. I would imagine. Because Vestergaard knows what Barnes is all about. Fass doesn't, needs to be prepared.
Yeah, Vass would just cover around. He's got a bit more pace than perhaps Doyle, and Vestergaard will be the more aggressor, going to attack the ball and just covering around, which he does well, especially in this league. He looks comfortable in covering the width and dealing with any issues that may come that side, and even if Rowe comes inside, Vass can get close enough and maybe force him away from danger, but it does offer that bit more speed amongst the back line, and maybe there's aware that E-Day may have played, but anyway, even if Barnes does or anyone coming through, Fass can cover around.
third v fourth at any stage of the season, Matt, doesn't matter if it's 6 games in, proves that both clubs are doing well, and that's what tonight is, and it will be a really difficult game.
Yeah, listen, you certainly expect so, don't you, for a number of reasons. Norwich, a big club, got big ambitions themselves, haven't they, really? And they've been a little bit up and down, but they'll be wanting to change that. They're not going to be intimidated by Leicester. They know what coming up against big clubs is like. But it's a little bit of a time of change for them, though, isn't it? Because most of that personnel hasn't been around. Well, they're not big names in a Norwich shirt. And people, you mentioned it yourself there about surprisingly good start. I'm personally not that surprised, because I expect a club of Norwich's stature in this division to do well. But it's got all the ingredients, hasn't it? And both teams fully expect, and understandably so, to be in the mix in the latter part of the season, don't they? But just as important right now, and we mentioned it before, if Leicester can get a run together and get some real points on the table early on and create a bit of a gap, that would be massively positive, wouldn't it? To try and stretch and intimidate the teams below them.
Yeah, and they'll know with obviously coming up against a side that have scored the most goals in the Championship, against a side, Leicester, that have conceded right in amongst the least amount of goals. As Ewan Roberts himself said, something has to give this evening.
Probably end up a draw then. But no, obviously the home record's really good, unbeaten, and Leicester also unbeaten away from home. But I do feel as if Norwich have lined up to contain Leicester to begin with and play on the counter, so Leicester have got to be aware, a little bit sharper defensively in the turnover, not allow too many chances, and then can they go and with the same emphasis as the other night and really take it to Norwich in terms of being on the front foot, or it might be one of them with patience, might have to wait, there might be changes later on, it might be, they might nick it near the end. It might be one of them, it might be a little bit cat and mouse, but it'll be intriguing, especially third v fourth, in what looking on paper is going to be the teams up and around it come the end of the season.
Yeah, I just, listen, Maresca said himself, we never know quite how a game's going to go. But you look at it, confidence is high. And I think that at this stage of proceedings, probably playing away from home suits Leicester better.
Yeah. Because
teams are more likely to open themselves up against them. Then they can really hurt them, as they did in an exaggerated example against Southampton. At home, at the King Power, the teams sharp shop a little bit, and Leicester find it difficult to penetrate, and it's sometimes not that exciting to watch. But that will get better. They'll get more adept at that as the season goes on. But right now, they're capable of hurting teams if the spaces are there.
Yeah, just finally, Friday was the first time that we saw a winner, if you like, before the 70th minute. So we know Leicester are in games for the long haul if they need to be. They know how to grind out results.
Yep, they do, grinding it out, and then they've got that extra gear to go. But at the same time, Norwich, they managed to grind out a 1-0 at the weekend, so it's going to be difficult, and especially when everyone seems to pack into the ground for Norwich. They seem to get everyone there, all in them yellow kits, so you got to calm down the crowd and sort of play it into the game. But we know Leicester can get winners even from the 70th minute onwards, the 98th minute, whatever it needs. They'll keep on going all the way to the end.
Yeah, it may be a miserable evening weather-wise in Norfolk, but hopefully the football will warm those supporters up. It looks like pretty much a full house at Carrow Road tonight. Our commentary team for the game is Ewan Roberts and Guy Havard, where hopefully they'll be talking us through Leicester City's 6th league win of the season.
Who wants to join me? Shopping at King Power. 3-day, 2-night stay booked. See ya.
To the rooftop bar.
To snap a photo for my IG.
To eat the famous patai.
The new collection is calling me.
Sure, there's a perfume I want. Let me ask my sis.
Yes, of course I'm going.
Leicester City, Fox never quit.
Let's go.